Many farmers in Sub-Saharan Africa depend on just one or two rain-fed crops to support all their income and food needs for the year. As a result, they are highly vulnerable should the crops fail, and now they are encouraged to start thinking differently.
Like in Western Kenya, where most oil crops can grow, people just believed that February is the planting season, the rains will come on schedule, they will be regular. But now we are into a different scenario with the global challenges. Farmers are finding that the rains are not coming as scheduled and in the quantities that are required.
Agriculture accounts for about 24% of Kenya's gross domestic product, with an estimated 75% of the population depending on it either directly or indirectly. Though at a slower pace, the sector is still growing.
Lately, the sector has been growing at a slower pace, mainly affected by the weather shocks, the climatic change that we have been experiencing in Kenya. Now, the weather has been so unreliable that it has been affecting considerably the performance in the agriculture sector. Especially in the last 3-4 years, we have had irregular, rainy seasons, and that has really had a strong impact.
Against the backdrop of the mounting food insecurity as a result of the ravaging drought in most parts of Africa, food experts have been urging that people diversify on the crops they plant.
We don't want our farmers just to focus on subsistence agriculture. We want now they get out into commercialized agriculture where they can compete with the others.
We have a good environment, good soils. Let us take advantage and grow those crops that are appropriate in respective areas. A lot of Kenyans are growing maize, but in those places where they're growing maize, they could have harvested sunflower, they could have harvested soybean, they could have harvested simsim. Why don't we grow crops that are appropriate for the environment that we have, so that farmers are able to get a crop instead of growing something that they don't even realize anything, and then contribute to the economic development of this country.
Currently, Kenya's domestic production of edible oils is estimated at 400,000 tons, which is about 1/3 of its annual demand and inadequate. Therefore, they have to rely on imports in order to supplement local production.
The potential exists to actually get local production done for a lot of sunflower, for soybeans, and for other oil seeds like palm oil. But that potential has not been extracted or really utilized, not exploited, I'd say. The reason for that is our own inertia in East Africa, our own policies. We have not put agriculture as a priority in terms of action.
Industrial crops, where oil crops fall under, have not been given their due accord. In other words, in terms of finances to do either research or to increase productivity. But recently, from the early 2000s, there's been a lot of interest in these oil crops. So like oil palm, soybean, sunflower, castor, so that we're able to grow them in a very wide area in Kenya, because a lot of these oil crops are drought tolerant. Therefore, we can really increase production, area under production in Kenya, and have a crop in an area where nothing else is able to produce.
Private seed companies have also not engaged themselves fully in grain legumes production because of the low profit margins, and that the sector is not promoted fully.
What has happened with these seed companies is that we've not yet promoted to show that there is money here to be made. We really need to promote oil crops to show them that if they invest, this is what their benefits will be. That information is now being available as KARI adopts and embraces the agriculture product value chain. So we're able to provide these people with this kind of information so that they can see that you invest in oil crops, you're not only developing Kenya, but you're also going to become rich as a company.
The area under vegetable oil crops has remained fairly steady over the years, and this has been partly attributed to irregular and unstable weather conditions, inadequate supply of raw materials, among others.
The production area is limited. The high potential area covers about 20% of this country. And we have a lot of other crops that are competing for that area. So we are seeing like the future for oil crops will be the semi-arid areas. And to get into the semi-arid areas, we have to look for technologies that are suitable for those areas. And we also have to ensure that we now stop depending on rain-fed agriculture.
Processing companies like Bidco have also actively supported and encouraged local farming of vegetable oil crops and specifically palm oil, not only in Kenya but also in East Africa.
We support about 5,000 to 7,000 farmers in Kenya, and we give them an offtake contract to buy their sunflower and soybeans as seeds. We have a crushing plant, we have a refining plant, and we actually process the products into finished products, and we have brands for each of these. These farmers are all smallholder farmers, and they're encouraged because we've got a financing scheme for their inputs, and we make sure we guarantee the offtake. So we buy all that stuff for cash. In Uganda, we're actually promoting a whole oil palm project, which is based on a plantation on island in Kalangala Island in Uganda on Lake Victoria.
The oilseed sector presents a significant opportunity for the country to benefit from. Not only are people going to improve their diets, but also more income will be generated for the farmers.
We have seen in Western Kenya, at least the region where the oil palm was introduced and it is expanding, we see quite a good uptake of that oil in people's diets. And in fact, some anecdotal evidence shows that the nutrition condition of the children and in the families that have engaged in this production seems to be improving, because they also process, they do the processing of the oil at household level, and they take the byproducts and the family consumes them.
Vegetable oil is one of the key subsectors of agriculture. By involving all the key players and by exploring all the potential areas of oilseed, Kenya will have plenty of investment options in the vegetable oil production, a factor that is key in the augmentation of the oilseed sector.